hinges. As we know, injuries are part of the game. But when an injury takes your bet and your sportsbook leaves you hanging, that hurts. That's why our partners at Fanatics Sportsbook hit different. They've got fair play coverage for you. Fanatics Sportsbook protects all pro basketball player prop bets from first half injuries. This isn't just protection, it's real value for your plays. Fanatics is the home for fair play all season long. Your old sportsbook won't do that. Time to switch. Download the Fanatics Sportsbook app today. Winning hits different here. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777. Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Maryland, visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Not available in all states. Terms apply. See the Fanatics Sportsbook app for details.
What's good, family? If you can hear the sound of my voice, that means you are locked into the first episode of After School on Knicks Film School's YouTube channel. I'm Jeff. That is Shawn. That is Shawn with a W. And we're here. It's the same us, new name, the same show though, but different. Got a new name, new rebranding for a new season. After School coming to you every week on this channel. When the Knicks are up or the Knicks are down, we'll be around to talk. Because after school, you know how it gets down. Shawn, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Hold on, I'm gonna do one quick thing right here. Bang! There we go. See, I messed you up. You should have been. You were pointing the right direction. It's muscle memory. I'm good, man. You know, happy Friday. We're recording live on a Friday, the second Friday of October. There's a bit of a chill in the air. Summer has finally ended, although, you know, the way the climate changes, it might be 84 degrees next Tuesday, but we move. And like you said, listen, same people, same YouTube feed, just a different name, because now we are no longer beholden to a specific day of the week.
That's how I like it, man. That's how I like it. So that means After School come to you every week. It could be today. It could be Thursday. It could be whatever day, but you know After School is going down because After School happens when school is in session. You feel me? So that's how we're doing it. Talking about the Knicks, the week that was, the week that it's to be, everything surrounding and going on. We're in the preseason, which, as Shawn will tell you, is overreaction central. But I think we can glean some things from what we've seen thus far. We're going to get into some new formats here. We're going to test out these flows of the shows. And of course, y'all let us know what's up and we'll figure it out and tweak it as we're going along. But the info is the info. You feel me? And we're going to give it to you with the real deal authentic. So first, Shawn, we got this preseason game. Shout out to everybody who tapped in with me, Shawn, Andrew, and Kev on the Knicks post-game show last night, which turned into a referendum on New York baseball and a victory lap for the New York Giants. But that's what happens when you're in the preseason. You feel me? Knicks win 100-95 in an OT that nobody wanted to see. Not trying to do that. We don't need it at all. Not whatsoever. So we got it, 100-95. And sure, let's get to this man of the match. Who do you think was your player of the game for last night's game?
So I I alluded to it yesterday, but I'm going to come out and say it today. It's Mikal Bridges, not only because he led all scorers with 15 points, but I didn't see as much of that silly fadeaway stuff that we saw a lot last year. I like to see him get to the cup more, but that will take time. But that to me is a symptom of coaching and coaching working. As I said last night, everyone loves to start off new stuff in the beginning of the year, and then by January you're back to running your same old stuff, and you've sunken back into your bad habits. But no, you want to see, as I said last night, do not overreact to preseason. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2, do not overreact to preseason. But you do want to see, okay, do I see anything different from last year? And that is one thing I saw different from last year in the way that Mikal Bridges is taking his shots. So for that, he gets my man of the match. So that's how you know I was preseason, because people are getting man of the match because, hey, he stopped fading away in his jumpers.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he did shoot 50% from the field. He made more threes than I thought, because he had a stretch where he was like missing open shots, but he went 42%, hit 3 of 7 from the field, grabbed 4 boards, 3 steals. That's why he's also my man in the match, because you could see a total both sides of the court effort, offense, defense, two-way player, epitome of a 3-and-D player. He was that last night. And I did see him. I've seen over the preseason his efforts to go to the rim. Mm-hmm. So I think that's good at it. And I don't think the fadeaway should go away. I just think he should utilize it. He doesn't have to utilize it when necessary. He doesn't have to spam it. Spamming it is what pisses people off.
Yes.
When you have higher percentage options. So yeah, he definitely first man of the match goes to Mikal Bridges for sure. Let's get into this, Shawn. Before we talk about the win total predictions.
Yes.
One thing that I wanted to discuss was your way too early conclusions about the team. Mm-hmm. We've seen 3 preseason games.
Yes.
What is something that you feel you could definitively say about the team based on what you've seen in 3 preseason games? I have a couple, but I want to start with you.
Okay. We may have the same one, because for me, it's very easy. It's this team is buying what the coach is selling. In terms of, it's one thing to play fast. It's another thing to hear the players say, we're trying to play fast. It's another thing for the players to actually play fast. It was evident from game 1 against the Sixers in Abu Dhabi that ball was getting over the timeline with 21 seconds on the shot clock and not 16.1 as it did last year. And that's important to me because, I mean, it's simple math. It's easier to run a play. If a play breaks down for whatever reason, it's easy to move to your second action when you have more time on the clock. So if you cross the timeline at 16.1, you run your action, the other team sniffs it out because, they watch tape too. And then you're left with, hashtag save us 11 offense, where we need Jalen Brunson to figure out something. But now the 6'1" point guard has to figure out a shot with 8 seconds on the clock, and with usually someone bigger than him guarding him. Now, if you cross the timeline of 21 and you run that first action and there's nothing there, now you have 13 seconds left. Now you could run a second action. Maybe someone has the time to cut to the basket, come set a screen, maybe set up a double drag, what have you. So that's my big takeaway, is that for now, like I said, they're buying what he's selling. And again, Does that mean that every single possession the Knicks are going to cross the timeline with 21 seconds on the shot clock? No. That doesn't even mean that they should, because obviously there are going to be instances where you need to slow it down. But the fact that they embraced it, and you've seen this from minute one, that's my biggest takeaway so far.
For sure. I think it's not even so much about getting over the timeline with 21 seconds left. It's not getting over the timeline in the mid-teens.
Yes.
Because break it down, right? You got 24 seconds from the time you grab the rebound or possession changes in your favor. If you get over with 16 seconds left on the shot clock, that means you have about 5 to 7 seconds to run one action. Then you got to go to the second action and the third action. Before you know it, you're in the final 10 seconds of the shot clock. And that was what was happening repeatedly with the team. They would slowly bring the ball up, pound the ball, kill clock, and then wait for the final seconds of the shot clock to put a shot up. This team, whoever has the ball, if they can dribble, they're bringing it up. I love that. I saw OG bring it up a few times. I saw Mikal doing it, saw Brunson doing it. I saw Cat doing it. Bring the ball, get it over, then get it to whoever knows how to run the offense and get into your sets. I think the other thing that, to your point, there's a lot of interchangeability with roles. I think they're going to define their roles, but you're not just limited to one role. You have a primary, secondary, tertiary. Cat mentioned it when he said, it's not about whether or not I'm going to play the 4 or 5 for the whole game. It's what time periods am I going to play? There's going to be shifts where for 3 minutes, I'm the 4. For 5 minutes, I'm the 5. And it's going to switch. And I have to know when to toggle the power forward button, when to toggle the center button. So it takes a lot of buy-in to have to continuously switch up what you do and not be complacent in your role. They asked for it. People reportedly asked and said they didn't know their role. Now you know it. Now it's time to implement it. So I like that one. My first one is the fifth starter race is over.
Is it?
The fifth starter race is over.
Is it?
Mitchell Robinson has started all the games in the postseason. Now,
Preseason.
Big asterisk, big caveat that Hart hurt his back. He couldn't play in Abu Dhabi. And then he was sick and couldn't play last night. Anything can change. If you were telling me to bet, put some money on, stand on something, Mitchell Robinson was going to be the fifth starter. Now, 5-out Hive. Do starting Hive. This is not the end of the world. This is the beginning. Because I've seen more of hashtag the lineup, copyright, trademark, whatever, which in Knicks Twitter and Knicks internet lore is Deuce with the OG starters. Deuce, Cat, Mikal, Brunson, OG. I've seen that formation more times in 3 games than I did over 100 last year. So while I understand that people will still stand on the full maximization of this team is going to be with that lineup. I mean, Mike Brown tells us, don't buy into stuff. But if you selling it to me for free, there's only so much I can say. Free might actually cost something, whatever. I'm not going to look at it. But fam, if it was about figuring out that fifth starter, you could have sat him and started Deuce. And if we're just trying to see, you could have sat him and started Deuce and started off with the lineup. So to me, it's over. The race is over. The speculation should cease. I think on opening day, it's going to be Mitchell Robinson as the fifth starter. Now, I think my take has a 3-1 lead. I'll say that. There is percentage points that Josh Hart or maybe even Dark Horse Deuce McBride can come out and change that. From what I've seen over 3 games, I think it's over. I think Mitch is starting.
I'll say this. If Mitch starts the next game, which is Monday night against the Wizards, then to your point, the 3-1 lead is 4-0. Like you won the series, you won the championship. Congratulations.
Mike Breen is starting to read your eulogy. They had a fantastic season. First wins in franchise history. They made the playoffs as of
yes.
Once he starts reading your eulogy, he's sick, bro.
Yes, and Emil Hassan's already got the Patino game warmed up because because So-So's not walking through that door. So to the 5-out hive, shout out to all y'all. The good thing, and Jeff, you alluded to this, is that we've seen hashtag the lineup more in the preseason than we have in the regular season. Now, I will caution you that it's easy to put out lineups in the regular season, in the preseason, and not see them in the regular season, right?
That's also true.
Which is why also you might be seeing, which is why I'm not willing to etch Mitch as the 5th starter in stone just yet. But the key is, well, now listen, I live by the mantra: not how you start, it's how you finish. So I don't really care who starts the game because what matters is who's going to end the game. But also between the start and the end of the game, there are going to be obviously different lineups, and seeing those different lineups, whether it's hashtag the lineup, whether it's the Hodor lineup, although you probably see that at ends of games on defense, whether it's Cat and the bench more, whether it's just having Deuce and Brunson play more. The key is Mike Brown has one job, and his job is to maximize the roster. And that was a quote, that was a phrase that you heard a lot on these airwaves. You heard it from me, you heard it from Jeff, you heard it from Benji, you heard it from DJ, like you heard it from John, you heard it from Andrew. Well, I don't know if you heard it from John, because although the John Tibbs heel turn near the end of the season was absolutely glorious, and I peeped in real time, I was like, yo, the heel turn is coming. But we have to maximize the roster. We have to maximize the roster. And that's something that Tom Thibodeau did not do. By the way, for those people who get mad when we mention Tom Thibodeau's name, like he's dead and needs to rest in peace, I'm sorry. It's impossible to not look at any changes that happened with this team this season and compare them to how they looked last season with the coach that was removed after the most successful season in 25 years. So if you think we're never going to mention Tom Thibodeau, unless it's in high praise, or to ask him how we're going to pay tribute to his legacy, like some reporter asked Mike Brown, it's absolutely nuts.
The Tom Thibodeau legacy tribute lineup.
I've never seen that asked of a coach before. Like, how do you want to pay tribute to the guy that you replaced? Like my petty ass would be like, well, he was replaced for a reason, right? He ain't quit, So
right. But that's a fraternity. He ain't doing that. Mike Brown wasn't going to do that. That would have been peak reacting.
I said I would have did it. I would have did it. That's why I'm not an NBA head coach. I'm right. Other reasons. So we'll see.
No, I definitely hear you, and that's why I said it's a strong take on my end. I just keep seeing it, and I'm like, and not to mention how involved Mitch is in the offensive sets, as opposed to where he would just be down low, roaming, set a pick, get to the dunker spot, roll to the rim, look for a lob that was never going to come. That lob was not going to be Mitch. That was his white whale. And he might find his white whale this season, because I've seen, once again, more lobs in the preseason than I had all of last year. So I agree with you that it wasn't so much about the starter configuration as it was about the volume of time that they played.
Mm-hmm.
That was the real issue. You had a minute best by analytical terms, and what you saw with the eye test, starting 5, that got solved by the league, and there was no adjustment. That was the issue. I don't think we're going to have this issue this year. I don't think we're going to see that issue manifest this year. So, having said that, are there anything else? Is there anything else that you've seen that you can make a definitive, that you feel like you can make a definitive conclusion with based off 3 games in the preseason?
Actually, you just said it, and I forgot to mention it. The lobs to Mitch, because how many times, Mitch didn't get a lot of lobs, and it was the reason we're given, Jalen Brunson's small, and we don't have a lot of good lob throwers on the team. RJ was a good lob thrower. Obviously, he's gone. Quickly throw lobs, he's gone. What have you? You got to reward the big man, especially if you're gonna have him just do hey, listen. As silly as Mitch be on social media, after certain games, whatever, talking about, I'm gonna start chucking threes, whatever. I have to commend him because his job as the longest tenured Knick, Mitchell Robinson, his job has been rebound, block shots, defend, shut the hell up. And when will you score? Offensive rebounds, putbacks. That's it. If we can get him, if the Knicks can get him 2 lobs a game, get 2, right? And Michigan's gonna get fouls, so he's gonna have a chance to go to the line to get points, whatever. But if we get him a lot, let's just start with 1 lob each half. Reward the big man. Reward the big man who is doing a lot of the dirty work and is cleaning up for and is accounting for the deficiencies of certain players on defense. Right. So that's the third thing I've noticed. I think now that's the thing of all 3 things I've said. That's the thing I feel like has the highest probability to fade away. You throwing lobs in November and December, and then in February, you're like, yo, dog, just go down there and get the rebound, P. But for now, I'm liking this. I'm liking the lobs, and I'm hoping that sticks out throughout the season.
And not just for Mitch, right? Yabusele, Hardie, all the bigs. Get them easy buckets. Even if it's just a pass where they're all alone under the rim and they can go up and dunk it. Easy points, easy baskets. I think that's another definitive thing I've seen. This team is hunting easy baskets like nobody's business, dog.
As they should.
I've seen Brunson run more, make a concerted effort. It's about the intentionality of it, where Brunson, Cat, a bunch of these guys came in leaner. They built up their endurance and their wind. Jalen's running more, trying to get to him easy baskets. That whole spray to the corners, they spammed that spray to the corners last night. It was about 57 threes, I think they put up. I wonder how many were from the corner. I would venture to say at least 30% of those were from the corner.
I'll look it up for you. I'll look it up
for sure. So yeah. So I think we're going to see a lot more offense. Not so much a lot more offense, but we're going to see a higher paced offense. And I think they have the conditioning to keep it going. And they have the conditioning because they're going to use the personnel that is required. Remember when we were watching the Pacers and people marveled at how they could continuously come at you in waves and look fresh because they used everybody. They got their people rest and it continued to go and go and go. And I just think that's just the most refreshing thing, man. I just think they're going to utilize their personnel, which is another thing that I've heard about the Knicks' depth, where the criticism of the depth right now is they don't have enough wings because they have Hart, they have OG, they have Bridges. And they say after that, there are no wings. John made a point about this, and after seeing some of the potential configurations that Mike Brown had with the lineups, I don't know if that's so much an issue because Mike Brown looks like he's willing to play 3 guards. He's not a heightist, right? He's not prejudiced against height. He puts people out there. I've seen a lot of 3-guard lineups with OG and Mitch, which is saying you guys along with maybe Deuce, y'all are the defense. We're going to scramble. We're going to do a whole lot of switching. Sit down when I tell you this. You might even see some zone this year. You might F around and see some zone this year. I just think that they're utilizing their versatility by way of innovating through the lineups. And that way you're going to see a whole lot of combination. Will all of them work? No. That Cat Yabusele lineup, it's good. It might be boom or bust. So far in the preseason, it's looking like it might be boom or bust. But I think they're going to figure it out. They're going to continue to build and they're going to continue to figure it out. I'd love to have one more 6'8", 6'9" solid player just to have them in the tuck. But I think with the lineups that they have and with the versatility in the lineups that they have, they could mitigate that absence.
Two things. One, I agree with you that I would like another 6'8", 6'9" wing player. So does the rest of the damn league. So
exactly.
so it's like people, we need more wings. Like, so does everyone else. Literally everyone else. Two, I found they took 17 corner threes last night against the Minnesota Timberwolves. They only hit 6, so they shot 35%. Now, what I have noticed, and shout out to NBA.com for this info, the right corner 3, they were 4 of 9, 44%. The left corner 3, 2 of 8, 25%. Now, again, it's preseason. We're not going to overreact, and it's small sample size to the moon. But they put up 17 threes from the corner last night. And they put out, shout out to Ben Kim Garvey. He pointed this out yesterday. It took 102 shots yesterday. 102. Like, we talk about like points per 100 possessions. Like, these motherfuckers got close to 100 possessions last night. I got to look up see how many offensive rebounds they got. But yeah, they're getting over and they're putting up shots.
I love it, bro. I love it. I definitely love it. See if there's anything else. 1 of 10 on pull-up threes. Yikes. Yikes. Yo, everybody was gunning. Anthony Edwards, you said it last night when you said he took the ball. Anthony Edwards was gunning last night. I liked that game. I enjoyed that. Up until overtime, I enjoyed that game because it felt like we were watching Rucker, The Cage, Dykeman. It felt like that. It felt like that energy. When Minnesota comes through in the regular season, I hope Finch and Brown aren't cowards and we clear out for Rob Dillingham and Jordan Clarkson to go off. Because you remember when Dillingham and Campaign were going band for band, and then Finch switched up the defense. I'm like, oh, come on, man. Yo, come on. We everybody's setting their seeds, man. Like, come on. But we need this.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? Like, preseason is the time to get that off too. But you know,
exactly.
So, like let people go band for band. So
one question I have for you.
Yes, sir.
This quest for the last rotation spots.
Oh God.
Yes, let's talk about it. Do you think Brogdon and Shamet will be on the team? Are they both going to make it, or only one is going to make it? I don't think the answer is none. One of them is at least making it. Do you think Brogdon and or Shamet will both be on the team?
All right. I'm now looking at the Knicks current roster, which has how many names are on here? Like 27? No, it's
probably
not
27. Like 21.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Maybe I should like put the roster up so people can see. So I had originally I had one point I had when the Brogdon signing was made, I had tweeted that this reminds me of a but when people are going nuts because it's like, what does it mean for Tyler Kolek? And we'll get to that later. But I said that it reminded me of the time that the Knicks signed another guard in the preseason that everyone lost their you know what about. And it was when the Knicks signed Michael Kidd-Gilchrist in the preseason, in the offseason of 2020. And people are like, oh my God, he's gonna take away from this and that and yada yada yada. And Michael Kidd-Gilchrist played as many minutes as I did for the Knicks that season. 0. So I've always kind of had the thought of like, I don't know if this dude makes the roster. Like
Brogdon?
Yeah. Because that was the issue. That was my take on it. I was like, I don't know if this dude makes the roster simply because like he's always hurt. Like first and foremost. So it's like, are we going to take up a roster spot from somebody who is always hurt? All right, now let's pull this up here. I got the roster here. Let's see. There we go. All right. So, okay, like I said, there's 21 names here. All right. I think it's safe to say that Tolson is not going to make it. Alex Len not going to make it. Thank you for your service. We appreciate it. I think Kevin McCull's on a two-way. Hello, Westchester. I think Diarra is going to be in Westchester. I think Tyler Cole may be in Westchester. Yeah, but
he's been two-waying it this whole time as well. Like he's been back and forth. So
yeah. So I mean, for me, if you keep Brogdon and Shamet, like Pacome, Dadier, and Tyler Kolek are out of here. Whether it's out of here in a trade, out of here in Westchester, but like I think they're gone. And honestly, from what I have seen in the preseason, it seems as if Mike Brown doesn't really think that, like, they brought in Brogdon for a reason. If they thought Cole could be the backup point guard, it'll be like there would be no competition. It'd be like, oh, this is our guy, right? There's a part of me that thinks he may not make the team simply because, and Ben Kim Garvey is saying it in the chat, I don't trust him to be available. And do you want to waste a roster spot on and not like an end of the bench roster spot? Like we're talking about, like, do you want to waste a roster spot on someone who is just always going to be hurt?
Do y'all feel that way about Mitch?
Mitchell Robinson at his peak is the best offensive rebounder in basketball. Mm-hmm. So yes, while Mitch has issues with injury issues, let me be clear, injury issues and a history of injuries, when he's on, he's on. Like, no disrespect, but like, is Malcolm Brogdon the best in the league at anything?
The fade is crazy. I still think he can run an offense. I hear you on that. And that was just me advocating for a devil who doesn't need advocates, right? So
I hear you.
I understand. I definitely get what you're saying. If you sign Brogdon, and let's say they trade Dadier, they low-key might have to trade him anyway, even if they do keep Shamet. Well, if they cut Brogdon and they leave a spot, they could probably, I'm thinking about the whole CBA thing where if you sign both, then you'll be restricted from signing anybody that comes on the buyout market. Mm-hmm. And CBA you would have to move Dadier in order for the money to work. So then my question is, all right, you sign Brogdon and Shamet, you trade Dadier. Let's say Brogdon gets hurt. Do we believe that Dadier would have taken his spot? Like, let's say they're all on the team. Would Dadier automatically hop into the spot Brogdon if there was injury or you need to rest people or whatever? Do we believe Dadier would automatically have occupied a spot that Brogdon would have? If that makes sense.
That's a good question.
So if Dadier
answer is
takes
no.
the spot, if Bradier, that's crazy. If Bradier is insane. If Dadier occupied the roster spot that Brogdon would have, and there is a reason why we need to extend the bench for whatever reason, injury, load management, whatever have you. Do we believe that Dadier would automatically be inserted into whatever rotation ahead of Huck Porty, ahead of Kolek, ahead of any of those guys?
So, I'm actually doing like I'm actually doing some like napkin math, and by napkin I mean writing some names down here. So, all right, there's 22 names on this list, and for those watching, those listening, Jeff and I look at a screenshot of the Basketball Reference page of the Knicks roster currently constructed, and there are 22 names on this list. I'm going to double check again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22. Okay, 22. All right. There's 3 two-way guys in McCullough, Trey Jemison, and Tosin. I'm not going to pronounce his last name. So that gets you down to 19. I think it's safe to say that Alex Len is not going to make the team. I think it's safe to say that Matt Ryan is not going to make the team.
Tosin's last name is Peppers, not Peppers. It's Brill. Whatever Brill's last name is, that's Tosin's last name. Because that is Brill's doppelganger, boy.
That's hilarious. Shout out to Brill. Let's assume that Alex Len is not going to make the team. I'm going to assume that Matt Ryan is not going to make the team, and I'm going to assume that DRR is going to find his way to Westchester.
Right.
So that's another 3. So that's 6. So 22 minus 6 is 16. Right. We know the starters are nailed in. Deuce. Let's assume that it's the starting lineup that we've seen. So that's the starters. Those 5. Then you have Deuce is 6, Hart is 7, Clarkson is 8, Yabusele is 9. Right? So that means
I think you can ink Huck Porty in there. Another preseason conclusion. Huck Porty's in the mix.
Okay, so let's assume we have the 9. We have the 9 rotation guys, the strong 9 rotation guys, right? That leaves us with 16 minus 9 is 7. So that's 7 spots for Brogdon.
Are they carrying 16?
Well, they have to get to 15.
Right. Okay.
So they have to. So here are the players that are left: Brogdon, Garrison Matthews, Landry Shamet, Tyler Kolek, Bacon Dadier, Ariel Huck Porty, and oh my goodness, PJ Tucker's on this list. Get out of here. So, there is a chance. So who are that and it goes to the question you're asking, if you're keeping someone over somebody, is that person going to fill a role, a need that this team has? And in theory, Malcolm Brogdon would do a better job of filling that role, but he got to be there. And I just don't trust him to be there. That's all.
So I think the question is, would you roll the dice on Brogdon's health or Dadier's youth for this season? Because let's keep it real. They ain't thinking about the future right now. They ain't thinking about the future.
Nor should they.
It's about this season. It's about this season. Do you feel, and this is the question you're going to ask, what is Dadier's progression? Do we feel as though there's more meat on the bone for his game? Are we going to regret letting this guy go? Are we selling too low for the sake of filling out our roster with Malcolm Brogdon, right? Those are the questions that the front office are going to have to ask themselves before they make this move. Now, my estimation, I'm thinking about this season. And while I hear the injury concerns, and I had them too, right? I had them too. While I hear the injury concerns, the Knicks have a all new medical staff that got voted the best staff in the league.
Yes, sir.
If you are banking on your medical staff to keep this guy healthy, after Mitch came back, and even now, Mitch looks healthy as hell. OG had his one of his healthiest years.
Yes.
Last year.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're banking on your medical staff to keep guys who are normally injury plagued available, then I think you got to make that Brogdon move, because he's somebody who will run the offense, who will hit an open three, who will make the extra pass. He can defend for his height. He's about 6'4", whatever. He could defend for his height. He's serviceable on that end. I think, and not to mention, he's not playing extensive minutes, guys. He wouldn't be playing extensive minutes.
Agreed.
Maybe like 5 to 7. He'd be part of that 9.5, 10 rotation situational slash. So it's not like Boston when he was in Boston or some of his other stops where they were asking him for 20 plus. This is limited action. And yes, in the event that an injury happens or they need to extend some time or there's load management, then yeah, he might take a larger load, but that's also why you have some guys like Tyler Kolek and other guys who can spot fill. Like, think about OKC. There was a lot of guys who you saw during the regular season who you didn't see during the playoffs. And I for one was shocked, because these guys were like had a really deep roster. Like, let me pull up their roster real quick and tell you. I'm gonna tell you exactly some of the guys that we didn't see, like AJ Mitchell. Towards the end, when we got like deep into the playoffs, Isaiah Joe was getting spot minutes, but he wasn't getting the regular season minutes.
Nope.
Jalen Williams with J-A-Y.
J-Will.
J Will. Not
yes.
Dub. J Will. Kenrich Williams. Guys like that.
He popped up some a little bit.
Guys like that who were carrying minutes during the regular season, when the rotations got tight, they were seeing spot minutes, but they were needed for the regular season as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's for someone like the Thunder, who were super deep with their roster, you could see they knew how to utilize their bench. So that's all I'm saying. And with the whole injury concerns, I think there's enough mitigation to warrant taking a flyer on him. Now they have to be at 14, I believe. They have to at least be at 14. They've done trickery in the past where they hold off on signing people until a certain amount of time so that their salaries can be prorated, right? Mm-hmm. So there's ways to get around it. All I'm saying is, and this is someone who for years I was like, Brogdon, he's always injured, because the times that we were going to get Brogdon, that the Knicks were going to get Brogdon, they needed him to play heavy minutes. If you don't need him to play heavy minutes, I think you could do worse than having him around, with the notion that if the worst case scenario happens, sometime in February, there's probably going to be a vet that we don't see who gets their contract bought out or gets released and will slot in perfectly to this roster. Yes. And the Knicks have rebuilt their brand to the point where people want to come here. Yes. People want to come to New York. People want to play for the Knicks, and people want to play for a title. And we are at the moment where all three of those desires coalesce into one goal. So that's why I said, even with if they did go with Brogdon, you're not really losing much, even if he gets hurt, because eventually you will have somebody that can fill that role.
Yeah. So, someone in the chat, and we can move on after this. So Ronaldo Roberts says needs to get to 14. I thought, and we can get out of here now. I thought they had to get to 15. I thought 15 is the number. And if I do my math right, like it sounds like if they had to get to 14, and I'm actually trying to find out like if it was 14 or 15. I always thought it was 15. If they have to get to 15, They have 15. They have 15 guys, unless they decide to keep one of the guys in the two. Although if you're in two-way, you don't count toward the roster limit. So I think they have. And someone will correct me. I'm sure someone will correct me. Put in the notes, whatever. But like, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this now, and I'm like, I see Yabusele, Bridges, Brunson, OG, McBride, Hart, Mitch, Karl-Anthony Towns, Jordan Clarkson. That's 9. Brogdon is 10. Matthews is 11. Sham is 13. Oh, wait. See, there we go. Okay.
Yeah, it's a minimum 14 that you got to have. And you have 28 days where you could have less than 14.
Yeah,
so the reason why they may not want to carry 15 is to hold a spot for like a buyout guy. So they would use the two-way guys and stuff like that and be able. That's why towards the end of the year when you see them guys in street clothes, it's because they picked up other people, right?
But but like, all right. If you want to like, okay, who's a buy? Like, I'm just making this up. Let's say Russell Westbrook gets picked up by a team and then he gets bought out, and the Knicks are like, let's bring in Russell Westbrook. Like, if you have freaking Garrison Matthews on your team, I'm sorry, you can cut Garrison Matthews because he's not going to be a big money. Although I have to go look. See, now I have to worry about how they're
both on Exhibit 10 contracts, I believe. Yeah, and I think
we are
on
going
Exhibit
down
9. Right. I don't know if Matthews makes the team. That's been the scuttlebutt too, because he would have to sign for a certain minimum that would put them over the cap. Remember, because Shamet, Brogdon are unguaranteed. I believe Matthews is unguaranteed as well. Mm-hmm. That's the issue. The money is the issue.
It's the apron. Yeah, they can only. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay. Honestly, in theory, Malcolm Brogdon makes sense. In practice, this is Malcolm Brogdon in practice. 75, 48, 64, 54, 56, 36, 67, 39, 24. Those are the amount of games he has played in each of his 9 NBA seasons. Like, he's never played more than 64 games in a season. Now, to your point, he's not going to be asked to play heavy minutes, although, I mean, he was playing, like, he's averaged 29 minutes a game for his career. Maybe he plays 20. I don't know. Again, we have a really good training staff. I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know why I'm doing this. For those people listening, I'm moving my hands like the 47th president of the United States. It's huge. Anyway, but I just have a hard time being like, all right, let's give this spot to this guy who last year played 13 games. 24 games.
I mean,
and the year before that, 39.
I mean, it was also on the Wizards.
And should have played more on the Wizards. They ain't got nobody.
But they do want playoff position. They want lottery positioning. Yeah, no, mind you, I'm saying this without knowing the extent of what he was dealing with injury-wise. Let me see. He was out for like the first 11 games that he played. Then he was out. He played 9 games. Then he was out 4 more. Then he played 9 more.
He played
and then was cooked for the season.
This will be an interesting. We'll see. They have a decision to make. We'll see what that decision is. We'll see
if you look at his games played last year, it looks like contract work. For a certain period of time, and then he's on the beach.
And I got nothing against him. Actually, I do have something against him because he stole that trophy from Manuel quickly, but
quietly.
Not quietly, very loudly. Thank you, Bill Simmons. Thank you, Justin Termini. Thank you to the Boston Sports Media Mafia who
that was a nasty agenda that year. That was a nasty agenda.
When I make it on the Bill Simmons podcast, that's the first thing I'm going to ask him. Like, why? Like, how did you? I'm going to shake his hand. Like, how did you orchestrate that agenda for the too many games played shit, which I never heard from? Anyway, all right. Let's get to our next segment. Win totals. So last night, if you tuned into the Knicks Film School post game show, we had a bit of a discussion about like what you would bet for win totals. Now, this is not necessarily a betting exercise. However, it is let me remove this here. However, it is a hold on, let's do this one. Let's do that. There we go. All right. It is so you can, if you're not a gambler, you can ignore the numbers on the right. But here, for those who are watching, I have a screenshot of Fanatics alt regular season win totals, and they have 44, 46, 48, 50, 52, 54, 56, 58, 60. So, Jeff, here's what I'll ask you. What number did you have before the preseason, and has that number changed based on these 3 preseason games?
I had them at 55. I had them at 55. Nothing in the preseason has changed that for me.
Okay.
Nothing really. I think if anything, it reinforced it a little bit more because I could see the proof of concept of the lineup changes, the versatility in the lineup, the roles that are being asked to play, the pace, the change in philosophy. And while guys like JB and Cat, I don't think look fully comfortable so far, they still fall into good numbers just because they're all NBA talent. Once they start to crawl and then to walk and then to jog and then to run, watch out. I know there was a prevailing logic that because the philosophy of the team is not maximize every single game and squeeze the most out of your players every single game, that's going to translate into less wins. I actually think the opposite is going to happen. You're going to give up some games, but it's going to be for the greater good of the long-term season. Because I watched, just like some of y'all, as they were in dogfights with the Wizards and dogfights with the Hornets and playing max minutes to win a game in December. Like every game felt like playoff rules, every single game. And that is not proper pacing for an 82 game season. They had some laughers, but other than that, you know, it was this game is the last game. I don't care about the next game. I care about the current game. The future hasn't happened yet. I'm trying to get to the future. And I don't think that's a good regular season mentality, especially if you're trying to win games. If you're trying to win games over a longer course of period, you got to pace yourself at some point. And I do think there's going to be games where they get a big lead and they have the depth to maintain it. At least to trade baskets for the rest of the game. Whereas last year, the bench didn't have it like that. So,
exactly.
Yeah, so that's why for me, it hasn't really changed.
So for me, I subscribe to that same thought process of pushing back on they're going to lose more games this year because the head coach isn't trying to squeeze every single win out of them. And I'll use an example. Look at the schedule now. So the Knicks play at home versus Chicago, and then on November 2nd, the next day they host the Wizards, and then 2 days later they host Minnesota. And in the prior regime, the head coach would have played his guys against Chicago normal minutes, and then he would have went into the game thinking, I'm going to play my guys normal minutes to win this game against Washington. And if the game isn't a laugher because Washington wants to come to play or because Jordan Poole got off on a heater because he has like 16 points in the first quarter, they will play them. He will play those guys as much minutes as he can to win that game. And then what will happen is against Minnesota, they're gassed because that's their third game in 4 nights. Now we may see the opposite. And actually now we'll see one of two outcomes. One, Mike Brown says, all right, I'm not going to play my guys heavy minutes against Washington because I want them to be good for Minnesota in 2 nights, and they lose. Or Mike Brown says, I'm not going to play my guys heavy minutes So I'm going to use this Washington game to see what I have with some of these kids to help prepare them, because I may need these kids or these bench players to help, because I may need them down the road. And guess what? They might actually win the game.
And so, you won't have to wait until game 97 to figure out that people on your bench could actually legitimately contribute in a meaningful way in a pressurized situation.
Yeah. Like, I even give you another example. New Year's Eve, they play at San Antonio. Then they play, then on the 2nd of January, they're home for Atlanta. And then the next day, on Saturday, they have the Sixers.
That Atlanta game's a scheduled loss, by the way.
It's absolute, and you know why it's a scheduled loss too.
Oh, yeah.
You know why. If you know, you know. You know why.
Yeah.
All I'm gonna say is, look at the look. Well, it's a scheduled loss. The game. Just look at the date. All right.
Oh my God.
Well, I mean, the game is in New York.
That game might be nasty because the Hawks are gonna have to be here for New Year's.
Yes.
Yes. That game, unders.
Yes. But what would happen is, and I'm looking at it, what would happen is we play San Antonio, we try to win, and then we go balls to the wall to beat Atlanta, and then we lose to the Sixers. Like, how did we lose to Jared McCain and Tyrese Maxey and a bunch of NPCs? That should not be the case this year.
I mean, and to your point, you got to feel comfortable with punting. How many times did we see the Thunder rest guys, like rest 3 of their starters and let the bench go crazy against a random team in March when they had stuff? And those random guys was beating the brakes off of them bad teams. This is the point that you want. This is the level of maturity that you want to get to with this franchise, where they're prioritizing the bigger games and the long-term outlook during the season. I don't believe the regular season doesn't matter, because I'm a firm believer in you practice the way you play.
Yes.
There's no one can ever shake me off of that square, that you practice the way you play. If you go into games, if you're lackadaisical, if you're not taking it serious, if you're not working on your game, then when you really need your game is going to abandon you because you weren't ready, because you weren't prepared. And like Shawn says, you don't rise to level of expectations, you fall to your level of training. Right? So that's what it is. If you're not prepared, piss poor preparation leads to piss poor performance. Yes. So part of that preparation throughout the course of the season is developing your talent, developing young guys. And I'm not saying this should be showcases and all of that. You put them in situations, you give them minutes. There may be games, you on a 13, 14 game winning streak. Yeah, you're going to try to keep the streak alive. I bet you once the streak goes down, that next game, your guys are going to get a break.
Exactly.
There might even be times where there's a streak going on and there's like, yo, if we win, we win. If we lose, we lose. We're not about regular season accolades. We're about postseason excellence, bro. Like, that's what it is. So fans are probably going to have to get used to some of them random clunkers, as long as you know the context behind it, not excusing it. But if it's for the greater good, you have to be great with the result.
Yes. And for the record, I think this team should win 55 games. I could see them winning 56. And for those who like to bet, if they win 56 games, that's plus 150 on Fanatics. Shout out to Fanatics for providing this list. But I don't think I'm like you. My number hasn't changed. Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh my God, they kicked the Sixers' ass in Abu Dhabi. They're winning 65 games. Not gonna do that. So we'll see. All right. Let's get to like 3 quick comments I want to get to before we get out of here. Thanks to everyone who comment. Thanks to everyone who's chatting. Thanks to the 700 people watching us live across multiple social media and streaming channels. Ben Kim Garvey says, Mike Brown's doing exactly what every rebound relationship does when they know you broke up with the last person, overtly showing you he's different. I hope it lasts. Ben, this is an amazing analogy. This is an amazing analogy. You get a gold star.
That was from the logo. That was from the logo. It's like, damn. he damn, he had them playing all that time. I know you ain't with that. Listen, we gonna give you 20 minutes. Don't worry about it. I got you. I know you've been pushed far beyond your limits before, but I'm not like that. We can talk. We can have communication. You are a person to me. I care about your emotions.
Yeah, and it's class, and the reason why I believe it can last is because usually, head coaching changes. Like you don't always hire the same person. Like if you have the disciplinarian the first time, you go to the players coach. You have the players coach, you get the disciplinarian. In football, you have the offensive minded coach. Doesn't work out, you bring a defensive minded guy. And then vice versa. You bring the defensive minded guy that punts on 4th and 1 from the other team's 39-yard line because he wants the defense to win the game. Then you bring in the offensive guy. Look, Chicago Bears. Goodbye, Matt Eberflus. Hello, Ben Johnson. Right. So we'll hope it lasts. Jeff, this one is for you. He says, Jeff, the preferred term is size queen. Tibbs was a total size queen.
Size queen. Wow.
Yes.
I've never heard that before.
Me neither, and I may run with it.
Maybe Hydus was a bit strong. Maybe it is a bit strong, given connotations. So a size queen is hilarious. What a wise man once said: the East is big, man. The East is big, man.
Yes, sir. And last one from Ben. This is about Malcolm Brogdon. He says, he's a far better player, but you're betting on him being available when you need him. Is someone half as good available all the time a better choice? That's a great question.
That's where I was getting at with the Dottier versus Brogdon. That's exactly been what I was getting at. This is the decision. I'm not saying one way right or another. Actually, I am saying I probably would go with the surer thing. Remember, we're talking about this season. And I'm somebody who was on the record saying I didn't want to give up Dottier because I thought something was there. Mm-hmm. Then he goes to the preseason and flushes every bit of confidence I had in him in the toilet because he's playing scared or nervous. Like I see, like I don't know if I'm wilding, but it looks like he's nervous and tentative. If nervous is too strong, then he's looking tentative. He doesn't look like a second year guy that is grabbing his opportunity by the throat and going all in. Like Kolek, say what you want about Kolek. He don't look scared out there. The one thing he don't look is scared out there. Diawara don't look scared out there. McCullough don't look scared out there. Shoot, I'm even looking at guys like Trey Jameson, who's trying to make the most of their minutes. They look like they don't fear what's on the court, and they know, like, I might only get 5 minutes. I got to make this the best 5 minutes ever. And Dottier is just like, I don't know. And that's not an indictment on his game. He probably still turned out to be a really dope player. But when you're thinking about the now, especially in a league with parity, if you have a chance, why you think so many Knicks fans were pissed off with what happened last year? Even if you did get packed up by the Thunder, you got to get there and figure it out. Mm-hmm. So you gotta take advantage of all the opportunities you get, man. So it's not an easy decision. I'll tell you that.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ben. All right, and that is it for us today. Jeff, since you're better at this than me, you can take us home.
Oh my God. All right. Thank you for joining After School on the Knicks Film School YouTube channel. Like this video if you love what you're hearing. Subscribe, comment, tell a friend to tell a friend. New format, same flavor. You know how we give it up. Thank you so much for joining us. Keep your alerts on your socials, on your YouTube. If you're subscribed, you'll know when we're about to go live. We don't even got to promote it to you because it'll promote it to yourself. So tap in with that. Be sure to follow Knicks Film School on all social media. We got a Patreon. We got a Substack with a newsletter, John's fantastic newsletter. So tap into that as well. We appreciate y'all for joining us. This show is just going to get better and better. The more VC we get, the more upgrades you're going to see throughout the season. So you be on the lookout for that. Shawn, it's been dope. Episode 1, season 1, a new show. Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Here's to more to come.
All right. And
all right, guys.
All right. And like Jeff said, follow us on all socials and leave us a 5-star review. Peace.
Oh, yeah, that too. Y'all better do that shit.